Hi, ho, everyone. My name is Mr. Fruit, and welcome to the GG Over Easy podcast. In today's episode, Rob and I talk about all things
Marvel
Civilization
Rivals.
7 and Twitch rivals.
I got hacked again.
Speaking of rivals, Rob got hacked. I have a sinus infection. Um,
Overwatch
the
is
Lord of the
back.
Rings and Game of Thrones is Overwatch. According to Rob, Overwatch might be back, but also might not. The Dune show, freaking Q&A. Other stuff. I mean,
Yep.
it's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
it's almost
You,
like a
you,
podcast where we talked about stuff.
you know what to expect. Chubbies is here to help you take on 2025 in style. Chubbies is here to help you take on 2025 in style, starting with the comfiest, most versatile gear you've ever worn. As I start to get a little older, things start not fitting quite the same as they used to. Nothing is more apparent with that than pants. Let me tell you, my pants collection has gone down quite a bit over the years. And trust me, it's because of height reasons, not because of weight reasons, but totally that. I'm so much taller than I used to be. Thankfully, Chubbies had everything that I needed to change my wardrobe and my life around. I started with their everyday pants. Designed for every occasion, whether heading up to the office or just kicking back to watch your favorite show. For a limited time, use code EASY at chubbyshorts.com and get 20% off your order. Don't miss out. Chubby's pants are everydayers for me. Chubby's is here to help take your 2025 style and starting it with the comfiest, most versatile gear you've ever worn. For a limited time, our friends at Chubby's are giving our listeners 20% off with the promo code EASY at checkout at chubbyshorts.com. That's 20% off your order with Chubby's code EASY. Support our show and tell them we sent you. No matter where the new year takes you, Chubby's has the gear to keep you comfortable and looking your best.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the GG Over Easy podcast. Episode this one. Episode
Yep.
most recent, episode most relevant, episode, if you're listening to it later, I guess all of that is wrong.
It's all
And
relative.
whatever.
You know, this could be episode
Yeah.
1 for all we know for you. And if that's the case, then welcome. You got a lot to catch up on.
Isn't that true of life, though, you know? Everything in life. It's relative, man.
That's pretty
How
deep
much
of you.
fun you're having. Yeah, like how old you are. I mean, it's relative too. Like, who knows? Man upstairs know, hey, yo, bro, this guy's ticking out in 33, right? So relatively, I'm pretty old then, because I got 3 years left. But if turns out I'm 80, then relatively I'm pretty young. Something to think about.
Yeah, my hairline
It's
says
spooky.
different, so
Nah, it ain't that bad, man. I keep getting. I was gonna say, you're still not Vegeta yet, but
no,
Blue was mentioning like the Dragon Ball stuff, and he didn't want to spoil anything. We
Mhm.
didn't have to because Twitter's been doing great. Like, scroll immediately, video, first frame, whatever the spoiler is. Like, sweet. Like,
Dragon Ball. Why aren't you watching
yeah,
Daima? Is there a reason you're not watching?
I just forgot it's going.
Oh, okay.
I just got a lot to catch up on. And the same thing. It's like I'm kind of just waiting until it's done, so then I can, because then I'll remember. Because like if I have to keep up weekly, well, that's what I was trying to do, and I just forget. Which, like, I saw people freaking out yesterday or whatever about Severance, and I'm like, great, because
Mhm.
I still don't know. I don't know how many episodes are left.
I think
So I'm
after
still
this
holding
one
out.
that just came out, I think 3. I could be
I
wrong.
still
Maybe
got a little
4,
while.
7, 8, 9, and 10. So 4, I guess.
Well, then I got a couple more weeks, I guess, till I'm watching. I did just watch a show on Max, though. Still don't know why we took out the HBO, but
Sounds
can you guess?
sounds cleaner.
Yeah, but there's no brand
Like
recognition
no
there.
the like
Max. Like, you built your brand on HBO. You say HBO, everyone goes, oh. But Max,
uh,
like, I don't know why you had to take like HBO Max. What was wrong with that? I don't get it.
but like the
Anyway,
new age is minimalistic or whatever. Like I forgot who it
yeah.
was, but they made like some company made like a new logo and it looked so bad from like
And it just fits there's like a meme template too of like how over time it's just like interesting thing, interesting font to like Impact or like Helvetica, sans serif, just like super basic icon, a couple colors.
yeah.
Companies keep doing it. The future for now, I guess. And it'll all come back around. We'll get back to gaudy, over stimulating, high fidelity, and it's just the cycle of life and death, really. But can you guess the show?
HBO.
No one Max.
Oh, sorry. Um, I don't know. Game of Thrones.
No. I've never done a rewatch. One day I will. And I'll remember just how good 6 are, but I wonder if it will taint it just sitting there knowing, like, where we're headed, you know? Where it's all gonna end. Which reminds me. No, I'll come back to Game of Thrones because no, you know what? We'll stay because I'll forget to come back after I come back. I don't think the books are ever gonna get finished. I think he's gonna die and give it to somebody else. Like, just how Tolkien gave the Silmarillion or whatever the fudge, whatever like Rings of Power is based on. I believe
Yeah,
like
I know what you're
he
talking
left
about.
that project to his son, yeah, or like the estate of it. And I can't remember who wrote Dune, but I believe he did the same with his son.
Yeah.
Um, he's gonna have somebody that he's just like, I don't know, man. Good luck, because at this point, he's doing everything he can to just not finish the book. It seems like he will write different books, he will do different projects, but I wonder. Part of it has to be he saw the reception to. I'm thinking that is how he want. That was his like ending the Game of Thrones,
Like he
and
wanted
he
that.
saw the reception. Yeah, and he's like, oh,
Well, here's the
hmm,
difference. I would have been cool with how Game of Thrones ended if the journey there made
yeah, it
sense.
felt
Like, like
exactly.
it's not that like I'm upset that like that didn't make any like sure, could that have happened? Totally. I think like the reasons for it
But it was so
happening,
rushed, and
yeah,
yeah,
are like
how
it's
we
just
got there.
not believable in the slightest.
Because the problem is, and I mean, we've talked this to death, but the Weiss brothers or who I forget their names, but the people who directed it, who were really good with source material, like they killed it. And as soon as they didn't, and I think just given a rough blueprint, figure your way how you get there. I think that's maybe where it went off a little bit. It just didn't get the like that was the whole thing about Game of Thrones. It was always fleshed out, and even if it felt like it went on a little too long, the whole point was you got to see it all unfold. And like when you finally got to the end, it felt like you earned it. That was not the case. So as for the book, because I believe he has this book and then another one, because I think it's the Winds of Winter. I could be making that up, and then something else because it's supposed to be 2 books left or something. And I don't see it happening. I don't. But I'd love to be proven wrong. And if it ever does, maybe I'll pick up the books. But that's kind of the same way I look at like a TV show or something. Like you're gonna have a hard time selling me on a series where I know there's like 2 or 3 more books to go. And so I'm gonna have to read the first couple and then just be like, well, I'm waiting an unknown amount of time. Like I'd rather be like, oh, they're all out, bet.
Uh
And what?
I'm looking at like HBO shows that are out right now that you're watching. Uh is it a Dune show?
Dune Prophecy, let's go.
I
There you
didn't know
go.
there was a Dune TV show.
Yeah, it was premiered, I think, like late last year, maybe or something. Same thing, heard about it. I go, ooh, interesting. I'll wait until it's all out. And in this case, it released all of it not too long ago, but it's been a decent amount of time. But same thing, I forgot about it, so I did get back to it. Then I heard good things, and I know like Joey especially was really enjoyed it. And then he told me he's like, "Why haven't you watched it? Like, if you like Dune, like the lore goes crazy." So I'm like, "All right, fine." Last Sunday I was especially depressed, so I went into my theater room, turned off all the lights, and I binged Dune. And I was in my happy place for those 6 episodes.
Oh wait,
Bangers. It was great.
you binge Dune the show, not the movie.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
The
thought you
show,
had
I
like
believe, is called Dune Prophecy,
okay.
and it's, I believe there's gonna be another season, or at least season 1 ending would lead me to believe there will be. Um, 6 episodes. Each episode's pretty long, though, like, over an hour, I think. And, yeah, we're eating. It was great. Going back into the Dune world, I just love it. And the interesting thing about the show, for those that don't know, this takes place 10,000 years before the Dune movies. So it's far removed from anything we know.
Are like the houses still the same though? Like still like, like the Starks or the, that kind of.
Yeah, there was like the Atreides and the Harkonnen. But the interesting thing is seeing how much time has evidently changed the houses and stuff. Because the whole thing, not spoilers, this is like literally just like the premise of the show. It takes place like 150 or 200 years after the Thinking Machines War, which is, I guess, like how
A
the whole
computer
Dune,
thing, right?
yeah, kind of the whole Dune universe started, whereas we know it. It harkens back to a familiar idea in Warhammer 40K, but essentially they had like, like sentient AI sort of stuff. And well, it turned on mankind. And so I don't know if they were houses at that point yet, but soldiers fought. And then depending on, I guess, like the acts of valor or how noteworthy those people are and their effects on the war, formed houses. So like one of the Atreides did some like heroic effort or something. And that's how like the Atreides house was, I guess, elevated to the position originally where it was. And like the Harkonnens apparently like they ran and had, or like their great grandfather or grandmother, whoever, like supposedly like fled the fight.
Interesting.
So the Harkonnens are kind of like lepers. They're like, you guys are cowards. Like, so your house is just like dog water. Nobody
Yeah,
cares
you
about you
trash
guys.
noobs.
Yeah. So that's sort of where the universe is still taking place. Um, where they're still having to pay for their, ancestors' sins. But yeah, so it takes place after that where they've now, outlawed all thinking machines and that sort of stuff. And then it mainly goes into detail showing like the creation and beginning to power of the Bene Gesserit and how all that takes place. And then some inner workings of the Emperor and all that sort of stuff. Really interesting. Really enjoyed it. Looking forward to another season. And just got me wanting to watch Dune again, and then being bummed Dune 3 isn't out now. And in fact, probably won't be until like, if I had to guess, 2027.
Dang.
Yeah. With 3 years in between. I mean, part one and part two are the same, although part one and part two were also filmed at the same time. So if it took
Oh.
3 years to come out after they were filmed at the same time, we might be waiting a little longer. I don't know.
I
But
was gonna
either
say
way,
I thought 2027. That's a little early, but I mean,
but I'm
keep the
looking forward
faith.
to it. And we won't know because, I mean, technically, Villeneuve. I don't know how to say his name. Villeneuve is like that college.
Yeah.
Um, I think he said like he was just doing part one and part two. Part two came out, and he's like, "Well, I've been thinking about it. Okay, fine, I'll do Messiah, part three or whatever." And then he said he's done because technically that's the end of the Paul arc as we know it. But maybe he's like, "We'll do more." If he doesn't, I think I will end up trying. A keyword here is try to read the books after that for the rest of the stuff because apparently it goes crazy. But those books are also known to be quite dense. I don't know if I can. Again, I'll give it a shot, but it might be a little more dry and wordy than. I think I got to start reading, get through a couple more books before I try to tackle something like that. And in fact, my friend Corey just recently, huge Lord of the Rings fan. He would kill for Lord of the Rings, but he's never read the books
Oh.
until recently. He's been trying to read the books, and it's interesting hearing it from somebody who enjoys all media aside from the book of Lord of the Rings and has consumed like everything there is. Every time we go over for board game, he tries to convince us, what if we play Lord of the Rings Risk this time? Still hasn't worked, mainly because his wife just doesn't want to play it. But he's starting reading the books and he doesn't like them,
Oh.
which took me back because I only ever hear people like
Blaze
sing
the
praises, I
books.
guess. Yeah, and then they're always like, the books are great, but then this did this disservice, blah blah blah, or whatever. Although to be fair, most people do say that even though there are some differences and discrepancies with the Lord of the Rings movies, They talk about how Peter Jackson, they understand and did his best job adapting it so that it would actually work for a movie. But I guess part of the books, he sort of said it's kind of like George R.R. Martin, but like a lot of fluff, frill, uh, spending far too long trying to depict the scenery or something. And he says a lot of it's very same. Like every scene, every place they go is a beautiful green and blah blah blah. And he says like he just keeps saying the same thing over and over,
Yeah.
which is interesting because I wanted to know, is that like a share? Is that like a I enjoyed the movies, went to the book, don't like it kind of thing? Because I mean they are old, that's for
Yeah.
sure. I don't
Well,
know.
I
So
think I
if
think
if
old
you've
books
read
like
it,
that were
sound off.
so at that point like so it was so new and there was just like nothing like it. So I think those books are kind of I don't know looked on better than what they actually are. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm a book hater though, so don't if you're a book listening to
Whoa,
this, I'm sorry.
book lovers in shambles, man. I think it's just a matter of finding the books you like, man.
Well, did you read are you reading your book still? Like how is that book
I
going?
am. He's in my bedroom or something. Good, slowly, I'll admit. I haven't made as much progress.
Hey, what you
Um,
reading a book report or something? You got to take your time. I mean, that's the whole point. Like
I haven't had another 6 hours at urgent care. Otherwise, I probably would have finished it. Instead, I've just been grinding Kingdom Come. So that's what people have been like, "Hey, how's your book journey going?" I'm like, "Bro, look at like the Twitch VODs, man.
yeah.
I've been here like 24/7 for the past like 2 weeks, man. Like, when have I been reading my book?" So I've tried to make some time, and it's still going well. But I'm still on Red Rising. I haven't moved on to the. I think there's 2 or 3 after this.
Oh, there's like an
Still really good
expansion.
though. Yeah, DLC. Um, I'm enjoying that, and then yeah, hopefully get through this series, then on to another. It'll keep me going. And though I haven't gone to urgent care, your boy does have a sinus infection.
Oh,
So yeah,
congratulations.
yeah, thank you. Been very fun. Been wondering what's been going on, and finally yesterday they're like, "Yeah, you got a sinus infection."
I've never had a
But
sinus infection. They kind of this just the sound of it. You know what really freaks me out? Ear infections. That is something that like really
gotten
freaks me
plenty of
out.
those. Mm-hmm.
Like
Believe
uh
me.
like I took a shower the other day and I had some like water in my ear, but like I swear to God, I could not get it out. So like I'd put on my headphones and like as I like would chew or something like that, I'd hear like a like it almost sounded like there was water in there. So I was like, this is driving me nuts. I was having chips. I hear, and I'm like, what is? So like I literally like run upstairs and I literally just take Sydney's blow dryer and I'm just holding the blow dryer in my ear. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I swear, like I hear like
I'm gonna
water. Like
evaporate it.
I could not get like,
I
dude.
see
I
the
was
vision.
I was taking like Q-tips and like shoving it in there, like
Okay, see, I
scraping
will say
scraping
that is one
around.
misconception for everybody. Be careful about Q-tips. Because they're supposed to help, but really, one, you might just go too deep and damage it, and two, usually what happens is you just push it deeper.
Mm-hmm.
So just be careful. Now, granted, if you thought it was just water and you're putting it in there to like, if the idea was like to soak it up, I don't think you'd be able to get quite to where it is in the air canal.
Yeah.
Um, but I like the idea of trying to evaporate it with
Have you seen like
with
the
a
earwax things where it's like you put like you light it and then somehow like if you light
yeah, I've
something in
seen
your
that.
and it somehow gets your earwax to come out? I don't get that. But I've heard that's also bad for you from Sydney.
But maybe I don't know. I did well, so that's why I was too. I was like, okay, this is getting ridiculous because the other day I'd woken up and my ear had been draining so bad I couldn't hear out of it. Um, I've always had problems with my left ear, and it happens occasionally. But I'm like, okay, this on top of the fact that now like I'm waking up in the middle of the night because I'm mouth breathing and my mouth's dry because my nose is completely clogged again with like crusty blood. I'm like, all right, now it's my ear too. Like, what the fudge is going on? Also, this has been like 3 weeks. It's not getting better. I think it's just getting worse. Um, and yeah, like I couldn't. I used like dissolving drops. Had it sitting there for a while, and then slowly helped a little bit. But really, the only other option, she has like a special little thing where you can like flush out the ear canal. Um,
Oh.
and like nurses and stuff will use it, like a certain thing and blah blah blah. But my problem with my ears, I'm like the last thing I want to do is put it like, especially my left ear. It is very like I can't even pop. You know how you're on an airplane,
Yeah.
and it feels like your ears got to pop. You know, and you like plug your nose and you pop your ears.
I do this. Then like
Yeah, so see, I try that. One, that stopped working once I had dry issues, and then two, a lot of times it wouldn't help. So people are like, you gotta like do that. I burst my eardrums when I do that. Like my left one, I can't do that. It's just it's very touchy. I'm very like
yeah.
if I go below like a foot in water, I have an ear infection. I just can't. So it's like
So you don't go underwater if you go in pools.
I do, but I don't go very far down. Or like
Okay.
even when I was
Or
swimming
you go like
laps,
this, like if you're going, instead of going like this, you go like this.
that doesn't help, unfortunately.
Plug your ears.
Might even make it worse, actually. But like when I swim laps, uh, when you're doing laps and you hit the wall, typically you like to turn on the wall, you flip underwater, turn 180, and then push off, and then like resurface. Like you probably seen at the Olympics, right? Like they don't just go to the wall, touch it, and then turn around. You know, they do their flip underwater, boom, and they get their thing. I can't do that. I'll get an ear infection. Um, just random stuff like that. So point is, my ears. It's just I've learned it's like just don't mess with them, man. And so the only other thing is like, oh well, you got to go into the doctors and they'll do like a whole thing. I'm like, okay, well I ain't doing that. So I gambled with the dissolving thing. It eventually helped, but like coming here, like editing, I was editing a video, and I'm like, like I'm looking at the audio meter and it says it's like on both left and right. I can't hear left at all. All I'm hearing is in my right. So I'm like, this is well, and I don't know if you noticed too. I'm just half deaf in my left ear. So at all times,
Oh.
everything's a little skewed to the right, which is also why I have to look at the audio meter on when I'm playing Premiere. It's like, did I accidentally pan it to the right too much? But no, so I just have to take Premiere at its word.
Yeah.
Yeah, my ears suck, so I get that feeling.
Yeah. So I mean, good thing you got a good nose though. You like
Yeah, and a deviated septum. All
okay,
that fun stuff.
never mind. I was gonna say maybe your eyes, but then those have things on it.
Yeah, but at least I got like my mouth. Right?
Nope.
Nope. Yeah, but what
Uh,
about my back? Oh,
yeah, but you got for good hair. So, and that's no.
yeah. I don't know about that. Could be better. Just like making money is better. Playing video
Oh,
games, Twitch rivals. That's the best segue I got.
okay.
I don't, not my
Yeah.
best.
Yesterday, well, okay. So I have a content rule, okay? And the content rule is as follows. If Dado or Mr. Fruit ask for people to be in something, you say yes. Okay. And that inevitably got tested for me. Dado in the DM said, hey, I got invited to Twitch Rivals and was wondering if anybody wanted to join. And I was like, ooh, like, all right, yeah, Twitch Rivals. Like, yeah, I'm in. And then he goes, for Civilization 7.
Oh,
Now, the only thing I
which
know
is funny
about
because I was just talking about that last episode.
that's funny. Because like the only thing I know about Civ is the Baba Yet To music video. Apparently, that is a old Civ video for Civ 5, I guess.
You
So
did do your Mr. Titan of that.
yeah, I did. With the
Ribbon streamers or whatever.
ribbon dancing or whatever. I actually ran into Berg not too long ago who did that with me, and we talked about that. He goes, my parents talk about that all the time. So I said yes, and to my surprise, Blue said yes too. And Blue had never played, and I had never played a Civ game. And apparently, this Civ game is super different from Civ 6 because I played a day before the Twitch Rivals just to kind of get like a feel for it. And I didn't get a feel for it. It was so confused. Like one person was like, Rob on a 4X game? Like, this is crazy. Apparently, like that's what they call those games are 4X games. No, I had no idea.
I
T-Rex,
feel like
she
I'm
told
going crazy though, because I mentioned this all last week. Were you just tuning me out?
no, I
I
just
mentioned like I'm not a 4X kind of
see, but
guy,
like I don't
and then I
know. I didn't
played
know.
it,
Like
and then I said why they don't like Civ 7. And
I just don't know 4X meant like a game like thing. Like I thought like 4X maybe that
I
is
don't
like
know.
well no,
I don't know what
T-Rex told me
exactly it
it's like
stands for.
it's exterminate uh uh uh
There's three
it's
more.
expansion was one of
Okay.
them. Uh
Economy
yeah, like execute maybe.
expansion. Wait, did you say that?
Yeah, I just said that.
Oh.
4X game meaning.
Did you say extermination?
Okay. Exploring, expanding, exploiting, exterminating. So I guess not even. Yeah.
I like how it ends. It goes from like, oh, this is fun. Oh, we're
Yeah.
exploiting them. Now they die.
Yeah. So
That is kind of civilization, I guess.
I have
Yeah.
really never played. And after playing and learning a little bit, I think it's fun. I can see why people enjoy it. You just have to put a whole day aside if you want to play. That's kind of the thing.
And mind you, you were probably playing with online rules, which as I learned is like because like when I was telling when like Claire was trying to show me,
Yeah.
it wasn't online rules. So everything is like double. Or like let's say you want to learn a technology and it's like, oh, this will take 5 days. It was taking like 16. And that's why I told you it's like
I
a
didn't
game
know
is
Claire
500
played.
turns.
Like I didn't know.
Yeah, she's been grinding and learning Civ 6. I guess
Okay.
she played a little while ago. I don't know why she's like back into it.
Well,
But it
everybody
just lined up.
yesterday, like in Dado and my stream, was like, "Hey, would Mr. Fruit like this?" And Dado said, Claire apparently said you played it and you were like sleeper. Like you're like, I
Well, she
hate
was
it.
trying to teach me, and I was trying to stay awake. It's essentially like the it's the gist
And it
of
wasn't
it.
the teacher. It was
No,
more.
yeah, it wasn't her fault. I think I don't know, like maybe I don't know, man. It's just
I get the like I can see the appeal of them. Like I was playing and I was like, oh, like I think I know what I do. But there's a point I think I got to where I was like, I don't know, I'll learn Mahalo. Like I was Hawaii and I was like, I'll learn the Maui. Like I don't know, like if this is like, and then I look over to like the stats and it's like, okay, you're making $60 a day. You have 120 signs, 120 music
yeah.
notes, and it's like, okay, yeah, all right. You have 5 settlements, 2 cities, and 3 towns. I'm like, okay,
Let's go
yeah.
Hawaii.
And then I look at T-Rex and it's like,
they have 11 civilizations. They make $1,000 a day, and they have 600 science and 700 music notes.
You don't even realize it, but you're already under their rule.
and then I'm like, oh, okay, like, all right, I'm not doing
great.
okay, I'm not doing great. And then I look at Ruben, it's like
Minus 20 gold, 10 music, 10 science.
I'm like, okay, at least I'm not doing that bad. Yeah. Well, and that was like one of the things too, like Ruben. So we do Twitch rivals and we have fun. And T-Rex just wipes the floor. She just destroys us. And it's not even like particularly close. But what was cool is I guess at the end, the Twitch rivals team put everybody's name who was still streaming on a wheel. And it landed on me and they raided me, which was pretty cool.
Let's go.
Well, the funny thing is like 1,000 people raided me who are watching a Twitch rivals tournament for Civ. So I immediately say like,
Hey, just so you guys know, like,
I didn't win and I don't know what I'm doing. So like, I'm sorry if you're here to watch.
Yeah, but see, now the backseat Andes are like, aha.
Yeah, that's basically what I said. I said, so like, if you know what you're doing, like help a brother out. Like, so played that, and then in the game where we're like in the antiquity age. I can't say that. Antiquity?
Antiquity?
That's a tough word for me. That's a word that just doesn't correlate with
Roll off
my
the
brain.
tongue.
Yeah. So we play a game and I have a settler going, like, ooh, I'm gonna go settle a new town. I found a natural wonder. So I gotta get there quick. And I'm just like passing like in front of Ruben's place. And Ruben goes, not on my watch, and just attacks my settler and like starts a surprise war with me. So like I had to go and be like, well, I ain't no bitch. Like that's my settler. Like I have to like fight for my settler. This is like turn 10 he kills him at. So 80 turns later, we're almost like 10 turns away from it being over, and we're just fighting a war back and forth. Like we're like Ruben's just like, I'm just bleeding resources. Like I'm not even like, I'm just building warrior, just sending them off to war and like not building anything. So the age ends and it's like me and Ruben don't have anything completed, and Dado and T are just like going off in the thing. So like it's fun, but like I really feel like if you don't know what you're doing and you're playing with people that do know what they're doing, it's a pretty big disadvantage. But I can see why people
Well,
like
it's it.
Civ.
I mean, it's a complete knowledge check. It's not like a shooter where you can go like, well, I have some mechanics, so like I might not know the intricacies, but I could aim.
So playing
There's-
StarCraft didn't help you at all? Like having like some like sort of StarCraft
Oh
knowledge?
no, no, are you kidding me? Well, that's also an RTS, which is funnily enough a lot of mechanics. But again, it's like, I mean, I guess the base idea of an RTS, if you switched RTS, stays the same. Where it's like,
Chubbies is here to help you take on 2025 in style. Chubbies is here to help you take on 2025 in style, starting with the comfiest, most versatile gear you've ever worn. As I start to get a little older, things start not fitting quite the same as they used to. Nothing is more apparent with that than pants. Let me tell you, my pants collection has gone down quite a bit over the years. And trust me, it's because of height reasons, not because of weight reasons, but totally that. I'm so much taller than I used to be. Thankfully, Chubbies had everything that I needed to change my wardrobe and my life around. I started with their everyday pants. Designed for every occasion, whether heading up to the office or just kicking back to watch your favorite show. For a limited time, use code EASY at chubbyshorts.com and get 20% off your order. Don't miss out. Chubbies pants are everydayers for me. Chubbies is here to help take your 2025 style and starting it with the comfiest, most versatile gear you've ever worn. For a limited time, our friends at Chubbies are giving our listeners 20% off with the promo code EASY at checkout at chubbyshorts.com. That's 20% off your order with Chubbies code EASY. Support our show and tell them we sent you. No matter where the new year takes you, Chubbies has the gear to keep you comfortable and looking your best.
build up an economy, expand as fast as you can, micromanage, like start scouting the map, um, yeah, like work on early development and blah blah blah. Like you understand the idea of the game, but it's all knowledge, skill check too, because it's like you get to a new RTS. Okay, I know I should probably build workers before I do anything else. I won't need a military for a little while. Just make sure I scout so I know where the other enemy is. Work on my economy. Okay, but what is any of this? What does that even mean for the game?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Civ, it's just a complete, like, I might enjoy Civ if I could just fast forward 100 hours of like game time. Okay, it's all here now, and now I can just play the game.
Yeah.
But for me, I think part of the problem too is the learning thing and like having to absorb so much information. I mean, like trying to learn Civ is the epitome of like going over to friends for game night, listening to them read instructions for an hour and a half before I play. It's just like, can we just play, man? And
Yeah.
we'll
Like work through the
we'll
rules
just try
as
and
we
learn
go.
yeah. And it's that same thing with Civ where it's just like, and I have the problem with a lot of games, which is why I like roguelikes, for instance, where it's just like, okay, I just get into it and
learn as I go.
Yeah. And I can also play the game like that, where it's like Civ, playing as you go. Oh, I didn't do this thing 20 turns ago, and I didn't realize, well, now this 4-hour game is cooked,
Yeah.
or, you know.
Oh, I put like my tile here when I should have put it here. Now I'm out 10 gold every turn or something.
Yeah. And it's just, I think part of it's just a little slow. Like, the times where I was like peeking up the most when Claire's watching me, she's like, we're going to go fight barbarians. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Combat, yeah. Like, go kill things. And of course, it's just like, bah, bah, bah. But that's when I was like, yeah, war, let's go. But she's like, but you can't like declare war, and it can only be against barbarians. If you do it against a city state, you actually get punished.
You're like, oh
And
my
then
god.
you just like, and so I'm like, so I can't just declare war. What the fudge is this? And then they're like, hey, it's Peru here. Let's share. Can I see your city? And I'll be like, why are you giving them that? Why can't we just what is this? I don't understand.
Yeah,
Why
like
be
why?
diplomatic?
Well, I had to be diplomatic because if I open my borders there, like we'll get 3 science. Like,
yeah, and I was like,
miss
so
me
we
with
can't kill them.
Well, that's what like Ruben had. Like Ruben had Unga Boonga brain, and then I let him Unga Boonga brain, and then we Unga Boonga'd, and then it's like, Oh, hey, by the way, those 2 civilizations have iPhones now, and you guys still have square wheels.
You're still trying to figure out what a circle is.
Yeah, so
I did say I could do the Twitch rivals.
yeah.
Because I think it was looking for like a 6 or whatever. So like I'll do it if you need it. So I can be there for my boy.
Yeah.
But like wasn't jumping at it because I'm like, I just know I'm probably not
I
gonna
don't
have much
blame you.
fun. But I'll have you know, Ruben's approach was going to be mine. I said, I will do it. But as soon as I can, I'm just gonna make units, and whoever is the closest to me, I'm taking them down with me.
See,
I know I'm
like,
not winning, but I'm
I
gonna
respect
start a
that.
war.
But like Ruben did that and then got to the point where he was like could invade somebody, but then was like, oh, I kind of feel bad like if I do that, and it's like, okay, then like
You gotta commit.
why? Yeah, you got to commit to like, because then it was like to the point where he had like this huge army but couldn't afford to pay for the army, and then he goes, so what do I do? How do I afford this army? I was like, taking towns and taking
Pillage,
cities. Yeah,
ransack. Yeah, come on, man. Dominate.
exactly. So like, because he like,
Explore.
yeah, oh, you got it.
Expand, exploit, exterminate, bro.
Yeah.
You're at the like the exploit stage. You're getting your exterminate. Come on, man.
Yeah, so he got to that point, and then it was like a town, and then his like capital was like here, and he literally had like the craziest army ever. And he was like, I'm just gonna go fight the little village that's across the place. And I was like, all right, cool. Like,
Howard. No wonder his civilization didn't last. Imagine Genghis Khan had his whole thing, but we're like, we're just gonna chill, man.
but
Not how that
I
works,
mean,
bro.
I see the fun in it. Like, I think like if I kept, you know, hitting my head against the wall over and over and over, kind of like League maybe, like there's that kind of realization where it's like, okay, I kind of get this, and I feel like I understand, and I'm getting a little better. But I mean, I have 18 hours in it, and let me tell you, those are all 18 hours of me playing. And I still feel like I have no idea what I'm doing 90% of the time.
The difference is like that's how I felt playing League. But there's just something that clicked. With League, I'm like, okay, I want to learn and get better. Civ, I go, I have no interest in learning and getting better. Like I can't. It's just my brain just goes, nah. So I'm, like,
I'm good.
like it's not really my thing. And I know strategy is not my strong suit when I play games.
I get overwhelmed. Like that's the
and I mean trying to look so far in advance too. Like okay, well, I'm gonna start doing this to do that. Like I can think a little far ahead, but beyond like a couple turns or like I'll have the idea of like I want to become a war state. But how the fudge do I get there? I don't know. Make a warrior and start there. It's just that's why I just know like that, and then also thinking like, oh, if I play this might be content. Ain't no way, bro. The backseaters, bro, they're just gonna be like, why are you even trying? And I'll be like, you're right. Like I know with most games I play, I know I'm at least above average, and I might not be making the best, but like I'm still doing pretty well. But I know I play a grand strategy game like that, and it's just gonna be like, I'm out of my depth. I don't know what I'm doing.
I would have loved to know what Blue thought, because he finished the thing with 0. Basically, like it almost was like he wasn't even playing any of the turns we were doing, which was kind of funny at the thing. So I would love to know what he thought, but it was okay. It was a decent time.
I mean, I can see why it was frustrating, but the one thing at least good with online is there is a time limit.
Yeah, it
might be
did go by
stressful,
pretty
but, like,
quick.
It keeps it moving.
And by pretty quick, I mean still it was like 2.5 hours, I think, of like just the Antiquity Age one.
Yeah, I was tuning tuning in to listen in as you guys were playing, like trying to understand, and that was just the main thing I heard was like not enough turns, we're not getting far enough like into the
and the map was
civilization.
huge. Like they put us on
it
like
was
a
like too
standard
big
map. It was
and
huge.
couldn't progress far enough to where like at the end of the game it really felt like you got like you said, Dad wanted to play another game to actually be able to like, get to
some sort of
the
like
later stage of civilization.
the center of the core, if you will. Like
so I'm glad you got to do that. Hope it was fun. And I'll I hate to say it, but I will say I'm not upset I missed out. You know, I was
Yeah.
watching, rooting you all on. I was like, it'd be Pog if like Rob somehow won. I guess I was coping clearly because I did try to watch like some of the rivals stream,
Oh,
and
okay.
I don't know if they
don't
ever
want to
even
watch that
showed you
because
guys
good. I hope it didn't.
because they're showing other people and they're like these guys have like hundreds or thousands of hours. There was one where everybody was Harriet Tubman, and it was going and they're already like aggressive and stuff, and the people were talking about the difference of like if you really know the game, starting an early war if you know what you're doing can actually be really beneficial, but it's like really hard to do, and if you don't know you're just gonna like plummet yourself into the pits of economy hell.
Yeah.
And they're switching between this and that, and the crazy thing too though is like that one game was aggressive and they kept swapping to people, and it was easily like more than halfway through nobody in any game was like fighting. Because most people are just like, and then they talked about like it makes the most sense too if you don't know the game.
Mm-hmm.
The easiest thing to do is just isolate and be like, okay, well, I don't know how to interact, so I'm just going to work on building my own thing.
Yep.
Preach,
Yeah. That's what I was doing.
So yeah, I was trying to, but like also as a spectator with no understanding too, it was just like, I don't know what's like it's a tough
You
one
may as
to
well be
just-
watching like cricket. You know what I mean? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
like I kind of like understand like the hitting and
Right.
like the objective, but like the little nuances of how this all affects the game, I don't understand any of it.
Yeah, like I understand they're trying to make the best civilization and progress. That's it. I don't the inner machinations. I'm watching a menu simulator for me. That's my POV. Like I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So anyway, not speaking of not understanding what's going on, we played the Overwatch 2 update.
Yeah.
The brand new season.
We did.
This season, I think we briefly mentioned all the stuff Overwatch 2 ended up showcasing last episode of the showcase, but this season released, and with it, I think some of the new maps we played, like the reimagining of Hanamura and Anubis, but also the perk system mainly. That was the big addition.
Yeah.
Where now during the game, your hero it starts at level 1, can go to level 3, and at each level, you get a choice between 2 perks. The first one is usually nothing crazy, and the second one is usually a little more game changing, like ability changing. And well, I'll say this: we started Overwatch 2 and somehow ended on Marvel Rivals. So I think it went pretty. It went pretty well. It wasn't bad, but like again,
there
it
was
wasn't
like
enough to
it
just
didn't.
suck me back in.
There was like this weird graphic thing that we just could
Yeah.
not get past.
I don't know
and
what it was.
I'm with you. It looked off. I don't know.
The worst thing too is like it wasn't bad enough to be like, guys, look,
Yeah.
like you can clear it, but it was enough that I'm sitting there like just. Because then we go on Marvel Rivals. I'm like, this is
perfect.
it. Like this
works
it's like
great.
I don't know what settings changed. I sat there for like 30 minutes, of course.
So did I.
Fix things. Yeah. And somehow I'm in Windows settings or looking at drivers in NVIDIA, and it's like, but see, I don't have what is going on. We didn't really figure it out. Yeah, it was fun. But I don't know, right now, like it just wasn't, I don't know, maybe next season or something. Because like, I don't know, like there's nothing really wrong with Overwatch. And I think if I picked up Overwatch 2 for the first time right now, like if Overwatch 2 just released, there wasn't a game like it, it'd be sick. But I don't know, I've just had my fill of that game and it hasn't changed enough yet that it's really like, I don't know.
I mean,
sucking me in, and I hope so because I mean, when Overwatch is fun and grind, I mean, it's great time, but I'm just not sucked back in.
The skill-based matchmaking definitely didn't help either. The first 2 games we have fun and
Yeah,
are
we're
having
like,
a good time and
yeah.
playing, and then
I don't
all of a
think we won a
sudden it
game
was
after that.
like we're in Overwatch League apparently, and
I'll never forget that Reinhardt, bro.
for real though,
Queued into him like 2 games in a row, and
it
bro
was just
just
insane.
had my number, man. Like if that turns into a video, the Reinhardt shoulder charge montage is gonna go crazy. Let me tell you what.
But I mean, it's not like I don't think Overwatch is inherently like bad in any way. Like I get like if you play it, like why you play it. Uh, but as I was playing it, I was like, man, Marvel Rivals I think just does everything better that Overwatch is trying to do. First of all, I thought 5v5 was really weird. Like it just didn't feel, I don't know. It felt like not enough was going on or something like that. It was different. But I mean, now Overwatch apparently is going back to what Overwatch 1 essentially was with like 6Q and all the different kind of changes and
Yeah, they're testing
loot
that more.
boxes.
Yeah, loot boxes are again. It only feels like just now, especially with that showcase. Once I think like next season hits, next hero releases, they have the stadium game mode. Now they have the perks, and I think there's something else. But then like there's now new like comp skins. Like instead of just gold now, you get like for this season or whatever, you get like the galaxy wraps and stuff. Like okay, this feels like what should have happened when you released Overwatch 2, where it feels like, oh, it's more than just a small like title update. Whereas, it's taken years now. And again, I think what a lot of people fail to remember too, like the biggest damage to me, in my opinion, to Overwatch was they announced Overwatch 2, but abandoned Overwatch 1 to get Overwatch 2 out. In doing so, killing off Overwatch 1, like a lot of the hype in the community, letting that just sit dead in the water, then releasing Overwatch 2 without any of the promises of what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And just removing some, in fact, and then even going, hey, you can't play Overwatch 1. We're just taking it away. Like, I think that was the big damage.
Yeah.
Whereas, didn't continue to build on it. And it's like the same way I look at like Destiny right now. Like Destiny 2, you play it, it's probably in like one of the best states it is in. But I just had my fill of Destiny.
Yeah.
And I don't want just more of that right now. But if a new player picked it up right now, oh, you got a lot to do and it's fun and you haven't played in the systems and the game and the loot. And I mean, it feels great to shoot. So it's like, it's the same thing with Destiny 2. Like, Destiny's not a bad game, but it's no longer enough for me to just grind it because I've played it enough.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Overwatch. Like, Overwatch is fun. And I had fun with like exactly what this is many years ago. And right now it's just like Marvel Rivals just feels more fresh. And who knows, maybe in a year, same thing. Marvel Rivals, I'm like, eh. They come out with a new hero and I'm like, cool, but I've had my fill of Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
But right now, that's not the case. In fact, they just released the Human Torch and the Thing. I recorded some yesterday. Super fun.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what you thought.
Human Torch feels like there's going to be a bit of a learning curve. It's not quite as straightforward as I would have thought. A lot of it is playing around with these like pools he puts on the ground.
I saw that, and then like they can like kind of make like a outline.
Yeah,
or
because you
something.
can connect them, and then it seems like a big amount of his burst is he slams down, and if you can hit those, they explode. I was really bad at that. And his primary fire is way harder. Maybe it's just me. His primary fire is hard to hit. I freaking suck. So he was fun, but I had the most fun with the Thing, which is probably no surprise because it's Mr. Fruit coated. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You charge in, you punch. That's the thing. Now, the one funny thing about the Thing though is the only verticality he can get is by jumping to an ally to give them a shield. Like they both get damage resistance. So like if Hulk jumps in the air, Iron Man's up in the air, I can do it, but then I fall pretty quick. So I was fighting against storms and human torches, and straight up, there is nothing the Thing can do. Like I'm just like, well, hopefully they come down. But the chaos he can play, and granted, I even said when I was recording, I'm like, I might be playing him wrong. I feel like he might be better frontlining for sure, but like a peel tank because of his ability to jump and damage resist and then get people off.
Is it like Hulk?
But I played him kinda.
Okay.
Very similar because like the way I see it, I'm like, well, he just feels like I'm just going to be a dive tank, go into the back line, cause trouble. Because the best part about him, his passive, he cannot be CC'd. He can't be slowed. He can't be moved. He can't be
So what if
The
Wolverine like tries to kidnap him? What happens?
Nothing.
That's cool.
And they actually showed the interaction. So there's like 3 interactions. Jeff, it was hilarious. I got eaten by Jeff, and I'm like, oh my god. Jeff went to spit me. I just fall out his mouth. He can't push me, so he can eat me. But
But
unless
he
he
could
takes
like
me off the map,
kamikaze.
yeah.
Like,
But
okay.
so he didn't know that. So he tried to do that, and I just literally landed at his feet and just I'm like, oh sweet. Like Venom is supposed to knock you up, doesn't. Wolverine's ult, when it starts, it's supposed to bring you up. You don't move, but you can be knocked down. So when Wolverine comes down, you will get knocked down. The Thing's ult is like a giant stomp that stuns people, knocks them up. It will stun you, but you won't get knocked up. And then I think literally everything else you completely unaffected by. And so I like that because like Thor, I'm in the back line. Yeah. Oh, there's like a mantis. Oh, I'm slept for 3 seconds. Oh,
Yeah,
and then Luna freezes me.
we were playing. You're like,
and I'm
I hate this sleep. Like you were crashing out on
Yes.
sleep. You're like, it's the stupidest. Like,
Yeah, it pisses me off because yeah, for those reasons, man. Like you just get and it's just like, all right, I'm not playing the game. But the Thing, now you go in the back and the healers aren't having a good time. Then I'm like, this is great because you can charge in, and if you hit him and stomp, because the reality is, if you're the Thing and you're on someone and they're fast enough to just get away from your punch range, there's nothing you can do. Unless you have your charges on alongside, like there's no way to gap close.
Yeah,
you
you're
have no
cooked.
range. But if you charge, hit him, and slam, it gives them a debuff where they can't use like movement abilities and stuff for like a brief duration. But that's why when I know I run in the back and like boom, knock up like the Luna Snow, I'm like, aha, bet. Like either your team's gonna have to peel for you or like this is it.
Yeah.
And so that felt good. So I was just having fun. And his haymaker, his right click is just so meaty, bro. Freaking, So looking forward to feeding with him and Grandmaster now, Rob. Wow, look at us.
Look at us. Did you have the little logo? Did you have the little thing that like said?
It said I unlocked it, but it wasn't there, and everyone else I was playing with had them, and I couldn't figure out where to like. Do I have to enable it?
Oh, so you're too
don't know.
afraid to ask about it because then it's like, oh, like we know you.
Yeah, well, I'm just like I don't know, maybe, or maybe you have to just play like a ranked game in the new season. I don't know,
Oh.
something like that.
Well, we hit it.
But
We did.
we did. We hit Grandmaster. We finally. It was actually that was why we were playing Overwatch. And it's funny too because Rob, you had tweeted like, "Is Overwatch back? Like, I'm live on stream," and you tweeted out, and someone replied like, "First game," and he's already talking about how playing support is just way more fun on Marvel Rivals. It's going really well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like that's what I was just about. Like when I just play other roles in Marvel Rivals, I just feel like I'm doing more. I don't know. In Overwatch, I just feel like it's like. I mean, I feel like I'm doing something in Overwatch. I just feel like in Marvel Rivals, they just make it more satisfying, if that's the right word or something. I don't know. Like, it just feels like I'm actually making an impact on the game as a healer.
I mean,
Than I would in Overwatch. That's for sure. In terms of like the healing role.
when we were playing, well, I'll tell you, I was on DPS. Most of it, felt like I wasn't doing much either. I think it was a skill issue. I was trying to play like some old like Hanzo and stuff, and I'm just like, man, I just unless I'm like fragging and I feel like I'm just like I was enjoying like Junker Queen. I think I play a pretty good Junker and like landing knives. But really the ones I was having the most effectiveness on was just like the tanks, which granted are like lower skill ceiling.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, I have an obvious impact and I feel like I'm doing something. But when I actually booted up Overwatch as well, the first thing was like, ooh, what's wrong with like my FOV or something? I guess I never realized because I never knew, but the best feeling I could describe it as is going from Marvel Rivals right to Overwatch. It felt claustrophobic. Because for the first time, it's like, in Marvel Rivals, even though like in shooting games, I'll admit I usually prefer first person. In a hero shooter where there's so much information you have to take in and be aware of, I now found with Marvel Rivals being zoomed out and having a easier time to see the whole battlefield than going to Overwatch and feeling so narrow. Like even I had on the highest FOV and I still felt like I'm too close to the screen almost.
Yeah.
where I like the first person view, but yeah, it felt claustrophobic for a little bit. And it kind of went away as I played, but I think that's one thing about the third person that like I didn't really take in because let's say Counter Strike, right? Like first person or third
Yeah.
person. I'm always going to want just a shooter game to be first person. Like Division. I would have liked Division more if it was first person. Granted, it's the whole cover based system.
Yeah.
But I think with a game like, and a genre like hero shooter, like it would be the difference between Smite being first person versus third person.
Mm.
Or, you know, if League was first or third person. When a game where it's also just so much more about having to be aware of everything that's going on, I think that third person works better. Especially when all the kits too aren't just like you have a gun, shoot where the reticule is. So yeah, we played the update. I mean, the perks were cool. But I don't know if I'm still gonna be. I don't know if this is the thing to bring me back and grind Overwatch right now.
No.
I'll just put it
not
that
at all.
way. So I don't know. Speaking of, we're not back.
Oh.
You got hacked again.
Yeah, I did. Well, I don't know. Like, I didn't get hacked. The weird thing is like I don't know how. Like, and
You were
that's kind
trying
of
to
the
scam people
scary
with
thing.
crypto again, as you do.
I was literally in bed watching Civ 7 tutorials, and then Glitchy calls me, and I'm getting a call from Glitchy. I literally went like, "This can't be good." And in that moment, you literally texted me and said, "Rob, you're hacked again." And I literally had access to my Gmail, access to everything, and basically, I guess
You
maybe
didn't click anything this time.
No, there was nothing clicked on. I think from something though that somebody had a permission on my channel apparently. Like you saw it, and I removed it and everything, and then my channel got deleted again, and well, it's back up now, but now I have to wait for the old content that I uploaded to get approved. It's a whole thing, but whatever.
Well, my best guess is it was all the reports that were probably coming in from when you'd been getting hacked or like live streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got it back, but then they'd gotten an influx or like saw the whatever and reviewed like the crypto thing,
Yeah,
and they're like, hey,
I'm
but
definitely
then you're like, okay, but that's not me.
yeah,
Like
I'm
the whole
definitely not
point is,
super worried about it. Everything is fine. I've rechanged all my passwords again, and we'll just see what happens. But it definitely wasn't as dramatic or scary as the last one, as I still have complete access to everything. It was literally like 10 minutes, maybe, not even. But appreciate all the
well,
people that reached out and had my back. I really appreciate that. That was cool.
that was the only reason I saw it quick was I was in my Discord and I was looking in general just because recently when I was playing Marvel Rivals, it's like the old days. I'm like, yo, join up. I
Yeah,
need random people because I'm like, when I tried to record like Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic when they released every
impossible.
other
You gotta
game, I
like
wasn't
snipe
getting
them.
one or yeah, and I'm just like, okay, I just need to make sure I can get the character. So I'd ask people like, put your thing. So I'd had it up, and that's when I saw something about like, wait, Rob got hacked again or something. And I thought at first it was like joking, and then
Yeah,
that's when I was like, nah, let me look, and there's like, oh, crypto thing again.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
shout out to them.
But it's okay. It's not as bad as the last one. Like I'm back. I'm still in my email and everything. It's just I gotta just start re-uploading everything again. But it's not a big deal.
And get back to your Nuzlocke. How's that been
Yeah.
going, by the way?
Uh, great. It was awesome. I had a lot of fun with it. Emerald is cool. Um,
Wait,
I
that makes
get
it sound like it's done one way or the other. Did I
yeah, it
already
is
miss something?
done.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I
Well, I
mean,
guess no spoilers. I'll have to figure it
yeah,
out then.
you'll have to see what happens. That's why like I haven't like said how it ends or where it ends.
Okay. Okay.
But it was a good time. I had fun.
All right.
I think I
I'll have to
want
see how
to.
that plays out.
I think I want to play the next Pokemon I'll probably do is like X or Y, where it's like what much newer and much more like I've never seen what this Pokemon is type of beat because I knew
Well,
like every Pokemon in there. So
now that you've played Emerald, though, you could after X and Y if you want to do Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. because that's essentially Gen 3, but updated with some changes.
Oh.
And because of that, has Gen 4, 5, and 6 in it at least. Um, so from like a more updated standpoint, it would
Yeah.
be more interesting because that's the. I think I even talked about like Claire, right? Like, oh, you enjoyed this Pokemon. Go back to the class. She's like, but like it looks boring, or like, ew,
Yeah.
it looks gross, and
Ew.
it's static. And I'm like, I guess
Nope.
I understand when you've been spoiled, but like, bro, growing up, man, this was the
This was
tits, right?
it.
Yeah, this was hot. Um, and that's when people ask like, yo, go back and play like Crystal or like original Red and Blue or do this. I'm like, bro, you might want it, but majority of the normie viewers are gonna be like, this sucks. Like this looks bad.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like for them, they'd be right. Like I wouldn't have a problem with it, but it is visually less engaging. I won't deny that fact. Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
guess I was gonna say we'd have no other topics, but we were talking about Marvel Rivals. Couple other stuff that's
Oh
come out
yeah.
recently about it. One, uh, since release, it has made $2.7 billion in revenue.
Jesus, that's in 2 months.
Yeah, the 2.5 or
Ish.
something.
Jeez.
Or yeah, maybe yeah, a little over 2.7 billion, bro. And
Crazy.
people are pointing out like, oh, great. Here comes the next example. Suits are going to be of like, this is why we have to go live service.
Yeah.
Even though the last couple of years have been showing, okay, not every game needs to be live service, and also not every game can be a thriving live service game.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like we were starting to get to the point where there's so many flops. Where it's like, oh, okay, we should. Maybe every game doesn't have to be $2.7 billion in revenue, live service again. You know, like they're gonna point back to this and be like, but like, what if we're that? What if
Yeah.
we hit it? And I don't know. Hopefully we don't. Um, but that's pretty wild number. It goes to show
Insane. Insane.
just how big it is, how well it's doing. Which came at a strange time though, because I think the day before that number had been released, or 2 days, headlines were saying Marvel Rivals game director laid off, and they were quite sensationalist and pretty much wrong. Um, but so people are like, look at that. Like even when your game is killing it, like that won't protect you. Blah blah blah. Like this doesn't make any sense. And it came out that it was actually just like 6 people. It was like a little 6 people development thing that were like contract workers essentially, and they weren't game director. And it was more or less like they had contract work, and then the contract work was done, and yeah, so they
Yeah.
were that was it. So that's kind of just how it works. I don't know. And I think some of it might have been due to some politics too, like of certain things changing or like tariffs. I don't know. Something that was just like, okay, well, and it makes more sense. We're mainly China based anyway. But yeah, it was wild because even I saw that and I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then reading into it, and I'm like, oh, we're all just getting clickbaited. And like
Oh, we all got kind of owned.
it's really not out of the ordinary. It's pretty much what you would expect, especially in the industry. You know, like even if the game's doing well, there's no point to keep on those people if you paid them for a job, they did the job, and that was it.
Yep.
I mean, you're not just going to keep them on just because your game's doing well. I mean, it's business. Um, so it wasn't anything wild, but the game is still doing very well, and you got to think they're investing even more because the crazy thing will be if they're able to keep up this like 4 heroes every season, which I think they said they won't, but I wouldn't be surprised if suddenly they get more people and now they have like essentially going Activision style with it, where they have 2 big things essentially just trying to leapfrog each other. So like, all right, you guys do this, and then working on this, so that you guys have more time to work on that. And at least that's how I would do it. But what the fudge do I know?
What do I know?
Yeah, but my rivals,
Yeah.
successful, and it's crazy too when everyone originally was just like, this is just an Overwatch, like carbon copy. They're trying to do like it's not gonna do, and it's shut up all the haters.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
You want to touch on some Q&A?
Sure.
We got Winner's Cloud. It says, okay, so all you say a superpower that you will have, but the other two have to come up with a consequence. Okay. So I like to teleportation. So what is my consequence to teleportation?
You don't dictate where you teleport to. Could be anywhere.
I don't know.
And
Not much of a power now. It's
yeah. And every time, well, they said 2, right?
no, well, they said the other two, like if Blue was here, that like they
Oh,
would give
okay.
you what
Yeah,
the
then that I'll just give you that. Yeah,
so the
'cause that's gambler.
consequences. Yeah, okay. I still take it though. Like, I want to go to the grocery store and I go like this, and all of a sudden I'm in Mississippi.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. You do that, you're in the middle of space, you're dead.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying anywhere, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Gamba.
Yeah, a little 2%er.
But you know what? For the fun of it, I'll say on Earth.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, that's enough of a gamble.
Well, I mean, I could just spawn in the troposphere and be
yeah, well, true. But then, I mean, if there's not a cooldown, you just have to keep. But then you'd also have to worry. See, this is when, like, okay, you're falling through the air and you teleport.
Yeah.
Do you keep that inertia? So then you spawn, maybe so.
Yeah.
Who knows? A lot of questions. Anyway, my superpower, the ability to phase through objects.
Okay. So if you're wearing clothes, okay, and you phase through an object, okay, your clothes will come missing. Like, say you like phase through like a coffee pot, okay, you'll have a coffee pot imprint on like your shirt, and your shirt will be missing like a coffee. So like if you phase through like a whole wall and you come unfazed, you're gonna be naked. So
Well, I have to get a lot more comfortable with my body, and then I'd have to make sure nobody, because that just sounds like a lot of public
yeah, it's
indecency.
exactly My Hero. Like it's what's his face for My Hero. Like you
True.
lose your clothes, so maybe there's some sort of technology that is can be used for that.
That would make it so I'd have to actually think about where I'm doing it.
Yeah, and how you're phasing through it,
Well, that's fair.
Pete, Pete, any chance of you guys playing
true. I would
Pokemon?
lose my glasses.
Here, you gave me the on Earth. You can keep your glasses. The glasses will stay on.
Because I'm also be like, that's going to be expensive, man. These are you.
Pete says, any chance of you guys playing Pokemon Master Trainer again? Also, loving the Soul Link content. The one with Rob was great, and the one with Dado has been so funny and just great to see. Glad to see you banter like in more social games like Codenames. It's Pokemon Master Trainer.
I think you played it with us. It was, I don't know if you remember. I think it was you, me, Blue, and Dado.
Oh, the board game where we were like, just fucking win. Somebody,
Yeah.
please just win.
That's so funny because I had someone else in Twitch Charlie mention that recently too, and I'm like, that's so funny because all we remember is like, it won't end. Like, just somebody end it, and
we like sped
so
up the process
like,
too. Like,
yeah, and we're just like, all right, just like kind of, and then it's so funny. People are like, dude, that was my favorite. It's like, you never know sometimes. Maybe one day.
5 years ago, 500K views. Jeez, people really loved this. And like all I can remember is what month?
Yeah, can you click on them?
December 21st, 2019.
Oh. So then, yeah, it was just an outlier because I was going to say if it's 2020 and if it was just around Among Us, it would have been inflated just because. But that was a year before Among Us, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's all I remember from that game is just us going, please, somebody just win.
So to answer the question, maybe.
Boo says, does House Fruit still exist? And if so, is there any way to be part of it? Assuming this is the Destiny clan?
If so, yes. To be a part of it, I know we have mods and stuff that manage the whole team. As far as I'm aware, aside from me and Rob, it's active.
I don't know, bro.
Kind of bad when
Every time I go on to Destiny, there's like, it's like the newest season and stuff. There's only like 4 or 5
Well,
people
see,
that's on the squad.
nowadays, that might just be a bigger issue of just the state of Destiny.
Yeah, true.
But I know for a while, even when we weren't playing before Final Shape, during Final Shape, and like a little bit after and stuff, they're keeping it so it was relatively active. As for now, I don't know. I guess I'd have to see what's going on with the clan and stuff. But also, I don't know. Maybe the mods of the thing too just aren't really playing either. So, it is still a thing. I don't know how much it's kicking right now. And I won't lie. When Rob and I play more, it's more active as well.
Yeah.
When we're not playing, it would make sense that
A little less.
not as active. Yeah.
Caraxi says, is there any future plans for more League content? I can only imagine how insane the editing is from the previous video, but like some uncut gameplay on a separate channel would be awesome.
Yeah, maybe. Just
Been playing
vibing
a
in it
lot.
right now, though. The editing, yeah. I mean, the editing for those, I could not keep that up.
We're still playing. I still play like every night with that's like, this is how like my day goes. I wake up, I stream, get off stream, eat dinner, play League. And everyone goes like, what about time for your
Not bad.
wife? The one, my wife is the one that
Yeah,
wants to
that's
play
what League
League.
is.
Yeah, that's my wife is the one that's like League. But she's kind of back on her TFT tings right now. So she got to, yeah, she got to the point where we were playing League and we got off and she's like, for the first time, I think I didn't want to play League anymore. Like for like, she's like, I thought like not playing was okay. Wow. Like,
Wow.
welcome to the life of a gamer.
She's weak. That feeling for League didn't hit me until about like 3 years in.
Did you see they're
Rookie
taking
numbers,
away
man.
Honors
Blue
store?
boxes?
Yeah, the
Oh, an
Honors.
honor, yeah.
I didn't
don't know
realize they were
going on.
hemorrhaging the money like that. Now, will I say
I
that
don't know.
Riot may have given a little too many free skins in Hextech before? Maybe a little. But now they're just like, I think being
But that is
super.
like nothing.
Yeah, now it's
Yeah,
like.
I think they're just rubber banding too far. Well, and this all comes off. I think the big problem too is like last year, or whatever, at the start. That was maybe when like the new CEO or game manager or whatever was coming in, and then they're talking like this is gonna be the biggest year of League ever. This means great things. Things are gonna look better, blah blah. And then it's like a list of what's happened since, and it's just
Yeah.
like lost this, exalted skins, did this, no more of this. Like, and it's just like, okay, but so you guys said it'd be the best, but now it kind of seems like the exact opposite. It kind
Yeah.
of seems like you guys are desperate, or like what's going on.
Well, and they like they talk about these like skins and stuff, and they're bad. Like these skins that are supposed to be like their gotcha skins, and basically for those that don't know, League
Old
used to League used to release skins called Ultimate skins, which are the highest tier of skins, and I think they're worth 20 or $5 or $50. What was it?
No, that back then, I think there came out to be about $35 or $40.
But these skins were like top tier, like they could change. They had different.
Yeah, there's only like 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like brand new models, brand new animations. They'd like react during the game, or like
special audio for their abilities.
Yeah, everything.
But now those skins are put behind a gotcha machine. Now, for those that don't know, basically think about it as like a Genshin Impact thing where you basically have a skin that you really like and you want to try and get it. Well, the only way you can get it is by paying $4 for a roll. I can.
It's like a CS:GO crate too.
Yeah, I can see what the chances are of getting it right now.
I want to say it's 1 out of 200 or something.
0.5%. So I think the pity timer 73 rolls, and the mythic thing for it is 400 RP each, which is about $4. So 4 times 73,
almost $300.
Yeah, it was about $300. So these skins, you can get it for sure if you pay at least $300. And these skins are very meh at best. They're exactly what ultimate skins used to be, that they charge 35.
Well, this new Mordekaiser skin isn't even like an ultimate.
Yeah.
That's what people are also upset about too. It's like not even a new model. I don't think it's like new animations. So this doesn't even feel like almost a legendary. And
Yeah,
now they
well,
want people to potentially pay $300.
and that's what people are also talking about is League has this game called Wild Rift, which is on like the phone, their phone version, and every like League like model in there is updated, looks cool, like, and everyone is wondering, well, why doesn't this come to the PC version? And League right now is just in a super weird spot.
Competitive's fun though. I'm liking Fearless Draft.
Yeah,
And they
Fearless, like
actually just
watching
announced
Fearless is sick.
they announced for next patch 2 changes to combat. I was reading this morning. Combat lane swapping,
I saw
at least
that
for the
too.
first like 4 or 5 minutes. So like I don't know, who knows? Maybe the meta is it's 4 minutes back and swap. I don't know. But at the very least now we might actually, get top v top. Because the spectators just not like there's just back in the day be like, ooh, this top matchup. And let's see how they fight against each other in lane. And oh, they
Yeah.
never see each other and they just sit under
Oh,
tower
lane
against a duo.
swapping
And
as a top bro is some of the most frustrating thing. I was watching the LCK last night and they were getting lane swapped on. In 4 minutes of the game, each top laner had 0 CS and was still level 1 and just getting tower dove. Basically, for those that don't know, a tower dive real quick is basically you swap lanes. So your bot lane is playing the top lane, vice versa, and you stack the wave to basically tower dive the enemy top laner under tower, kill them, and deny them a bunch of XP, gold, and all that kind of stuff to start them behind, essentially. Now that may sound like counterplay and all that kind of stuff, but you only really see this in pro play. By the way, I don't really think you see this in solo queue
no.
or anything like that because it's really hard to pull off and execute. But man, I think it makes for some of the most boring League I've ever seen. Like I forgot what the meta was back in the day where it was like just farm, don't fight, and it was like every game would have two.
I've lived through some
This is pretty
miserable
bad.
metas.
This is pretty
Yeah.
bad. But it's
Not as
thankfully
bad
it's
as it
only
was, let me
bad
tell you.
for the first like 10 minutes of the game. And then it kind of stabilizes after 10 minutes. But the first 10 minutes of pro play League
there's
is
been
pretty unwatchable.
years of pro play where the meta is essentially do that, farm up. It can be 30 minutes and it's one kill. And then you just wait for one fight and the game's over. Which is why they've started doing stuff like Otacon and change like 'cause all those
Grubs.
changes were aimed at forcing you guys to actually like
The
give
team
you
fight.
a reason to fight. Yeah, just do something like
Get out of your
interact with each other,
lanes.
play the game. Yeah, because like just because it's the most optimal does not mean it's the most fun or like a big part of it too is just viewer friendly. Like if it was fun to watch viewers, well, they wouldn't change it. But that's like nobody. I don't think pro players like why would they enjoy it? It's just, but they do it because it's
Yeah.
the most optimal.
So it's almost like if I look at lane swapping, he's like, if every Smash player just was like, all right, I'll play Steve. Like, we'll just play, everyone just plays Steve.
Well, it's just
But-
like circumventing a part of what the game is meant to be just because it's optimal. And I'm trying to think of like a sports analogy. Like, imagine
The tush push
for the
maybe?
first quarter of football. Yeah, maybe. But like the first quarter of football, the defense doesn't go on the field, but the offense only agrees to take a field goal every run. Like,
Or like
but
maybe
just
like
something where like they just don't engage. You don't
Well,
see the game.
maybe if football, it's like the first offensive possession or like the first two like offensive possessions, they don't play against the defense on defense. They play against the offense on defense. Like something like
Yeah,
that, where it's
well.
like you got Peyton Manning playing corner. Well, Peyton Manning's not going to be able to cover your wide receiver. Like,
Hey, he might be kind of nice. Let's not
like
get ahead of ourselves. Peyton.
So all of a sudden, like you're watching the first two possessions, just like the defense getting rolled, and it's like, okay, well, I don't want to watch this. Like this isn't like the defense just getting rolled, and we know the offense is going to win. But and then but as a top player, it just makes the top lane just so boring. Or just I would say the top lane roll because there is no lane at the moment. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because then like the thing about lane swapping, it's like, okay, well, if you don't like the lane swap, then just don't lane swap. But then it's like, okay, well, now they're lane swapped and have the advantage, and we don't have the advantage. So it's like you have to guess if they're going to lane swap, and if they don't lane swap, do we think they're going to lane swap? So if we lane swap and they don't lane swap, are we in trouble because we don't want to lane swap? So do we call the bluff that they're lane swapping, or do we match that they're? It's, I don't know. I don't think it's any sort of like fun counterplay. I just think it makes the first 10 minutes of a league game just so boring.
Yeah. The first time they did it many years ago, it was novel. I'm like, ooh, that was like, ooh, interesting strategy, counterplay. Shot a couple times, but then suddenly realized, wait, no, this is just the meta now. And the days of watching top laners actually lane against each other is gone.
Well, and like the days of people not picking Cassante, Mbessa, that's pretty much it. That's all I ever see in the top lane these days. But like you said, thanks to Fearless, I actually get to see other champs played, which is nice.
Yeah. Just fun. For those unaware, Fearless makes it so that if a team has played a hero or champion in a match, and it's like a best of 5 series, well, for the next 4 games, they cannot play those champions. You have to literally keep going through your
pool,
roster,
essentially,
or your pool, of playable champs and different comps.
That was one of my biggest complaints about League is like you'll see like these teams playing the same 2 to 3 champions every game. Like, oh, okay, Cassante got picked, I'll just pick Rumble then.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Either
Rumble
that
got
team
picked,
him or
I'll
that
just
team
pick
got him,
Cassante.
yeah.
Oh, Cassante got banned and Rumble got banned, oh, I'll just pick Gnar. Like, it's just like the same thing. But now it's like, oh my god, I get to see Camille in the top lane. Okay, like that's kind of cool. Like, cool. Fiora in the top lane. Okay, like yeah. So which is nice.
Yeah.
We'll do one last question here from One Lax. Says, would you rather be in a position of a wedding photographer that has to tell the bride and groom that they didn't take any pics because they forgot to turn the camera on, or be in the position of the best man that shits themselves during giving their speech?
Best man.
Yeah,
For sure.
best man for sure. Like,
because at that way, really the only person I'm either embarrassing
is myself
or having a bad time is myself. Now, when it happens and how sneaky it is, I mean, that too could be a little unfortunate. But I still think that would be better, especially fast forward 10 years. It's a funny story.
Yeah.
Versus we have no memories. Like we have nothing.
We have nothing from that day.
Actually, yeah. I'd totally just poop my pants, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, if that came out just now, I would have taken a poop for you, bro.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. You know what? I would have too.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, that'll do it for the GG Over Easy podcast. Thank you guys all for chilling and listening today. We'll be back. We'll be back next week for some more talking and yapping.
Look forward to it. See.